Welcome to episode 32 of the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast, joined by Director of Athletic Communications Larry Dielman and Student Assistant Connor Kikowski. This is Sports Information Director Andy Alvarez, bringing you the results and news from this past week's action and previewing the upcoming week in Immaculata Athletics. We're kind of down to our last three sports to talk about in the 2025-26 season. Track and field wrapped up their strong season at the Atlantic East Conference Championships hosted by Immaculata at Draper Wall Stadium. Men's lacrosse fell in the competitive Atlantic East Conference Championship game at Marymount, and baseball played Salisbury and the weekend series with Centenary. So let's get started with looking back at this past week's results. Men's lacrosse concluded their season on Saturday at Marymount in the AEC Championship game. Despite a valiant effort against Marymount, Immaculata fell 11-7. Ryan Gorman scored 2 goals, and 4 different players had an assist. Brady Lynch had 3 ground balls. Colin Wolk 3 caused turnovers. Matthew Ludlow had 15 saves. Game was tied 3-3 after the first quarter, but a 4-0 Marymount run in the second quarter was the difference. Men's lacrosse finishes the season 12-6, 3-1 in AEC play for 2026. Their third 10-plus win season all time, 3 in the last 4 years, and the second most wins in the season in program history, other than last year's 14. So that was another good season for lacrosse. They're a young team and have a lot of players back. Obviously, you graduate some big pieces in Matthew Ludlow, Dan Alvarez, Colton Rhodes. Pieces like that are going to be hard with Matt Frame. Hopefully, they'll be able to continue to build what they're working towards, and you're going to have a good recruiting class coming in as well. So, but tough to lose, but it was another good season for our lacrosse team. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, a good season overall. They saw a lot of tough opponents this year. But I mean, that St. Vincent win in the beginning of the season, that was a really gutsy win. That shows a lot of the grit of this team this year. But, Marymount was a tough battle. He had to go there on the road and he kept it close as best he could, but can't win them all sometimes. And they still have a lot of bright spots in their lineup for next year with Gorman coming back. He'll be a leader next year for sure. Colin Woke will be back, and a lot of the freshmen will be back as well. And hopefully they get some new additions. But to have now 2 seasons in a row when you have 10 plus wins, that's really good and shows the direction of this program.
It was an awesome season seeing men's lacrosse grow from last year. Obviously, I wasn't here last year, so I didn't get the experience with that. But seeing them this year come so close to getting back-to-back championships, it was a really good season. You brought up that St. Vincent win. That was good. That Drew game was good. And that was a stressful day coming directly from the women's basketball championship. We were finishing that up. I had to sprint out and get everything set up. So that was a fun day. But, it was a great season for men's lacrosse. Ken Snoddy will be in his second season next year, and I know he'll definitely grow a lot, and he's definitely grown since the start of the season. And this team, a lot of tough players to replace, but I know Kent is already on the recruiting trail, and he's going to probably go into the portal and scout some players. So it's going to be a good season for them next year as well. And yeah, just overall, and that Gwinnett win last week too with the semifinal game. That's something. It's not like they missed the playoffs entirely. They got that semifinal win. They lost by 4 goals. It wasn't like a blowout or anything. So, really good season for men's lacrosse, and I know they'll bounce back next year.
Yeah, I think one thing, quick point, is that was a big point. That semifinal win was big against Gwinnett, and the Aurora win coming from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Aurora. Not a normal opponent for us, a team that's a perennial tournament type team as well. You came from behind 3 goals down in the fourth quarter to win that game. So those were some big moments. And we were talking to Ken a little bit earlier today, and he's looking forward to the future and try to recruit from there.
Let's switch over to baseball. Baseball had a tough week. They went 0-4, but they clinched the number 3 seed in the Atlantic East Conference postseason. They started off last week on Wednesday. They went to Salisbury. Tough one, 15-0 final in 7 innings. Salisbury is currently ranked number 7 in the D3Baseball.com top 25 poll. Salisbury, always a powerhouse in most of their sports. Baseball, no exception. For the Mighty Macs, Alex Tronosky led with 2 hits. Joey Dida and Ryan Robertson were walked each, and Trevor Robbins started 3 innings on the mound with 2 strikeouts. Salisbury's first 3 scoring plays were home runs. The Seagulls are always a really strong team. 3 home runs to start, not much you can do with that. And then they had Centenary over the weekend for a 3-game series, and the Cyclones got the sweep. It was 11-9 in 11 innings on Friday, and then Saturday 6-1 in 7 innings and 13-3 in 7 innings. In game one, 2 runs each for Matt Passerini, Hunter Weitzel, and Bobby Woodward. 3 hits for Passerini, Weitzel, and Nick Turnage, and Turnage and Weitzel, 3 ribbies apiece. Alex LePage, 8 innings on the mound, 4 strikeouts. The Friday game was tough. They had a 2 balls, 2 strikes count, 2 outs in the top of the ninth inning. The Mighty Macs, they were looking for that win. The Cyclones, though, a go-ahead grand slam, which was met by some controversy from the fans. The umpires got together. They were discussing to see if the ball went over the fence. It hit a point in the fence, and they were seeing if it had indeed went over or not, because it's not like the ball can go over. There's a netting right there. So they were trying to see if it did go over. They talked it over, and they deemed it was a go-ahead grand slam, and they tied it in the bottom of the ninth. Nick Turnage, RBI single. The Mighty Macs fought for 11 innings, but Centenary did pull away in that 11th inning. Game two, Luke Hardnock, 1 run, JT Luther, 2 hits, Josh Goulburn, an RBI, and Matt Passerini and Luther were walked once each. Tommy DeSarno, 6 innings and 5 strikeouts on the mounds. Game three, Joey Mazzone, 2 runs, 2 hits each for Passerini, Weitzel, and Mazzone, and Pass had 2 ribbies. John Fitzpatrick, 5 innings on the mound with a strikeout. And we did learn the other day that Matt Passerini surpassed 100 career hits, so congrats to him. Up next, they get the playoffs. There was a lot of scenarios this past weekend with the playoffs, a lot of tiebreakers and craziness, and the seeding finally came out. So the top seed is Centenary, then Marymount, then Immaculata, and Marywood rounds everything out. The Mighty Macs will be at Marymount for that 2-3 matchup. Date and time are still kind of getting sorted out. As of right now, it's Wednesday, May 6th. There's some talk depending on the weather, so we'll keep you updated. Go on GoMightyMacs.com for all the latest updates. It is a double elimination tournament, so they are guaranteed at least Wednesday and Friday. Marywood is going to be at Centenary for that 1-4 matchup, and then the entire bracket shifts to Centenary on Friday and Saturday for the remainder of the postseason. Guys, a wild week for baseball. Obviously, that Friday game against Centenary was probably one of the craziest games I've ever seen. They did make the tournament, though. Centenary, tough team. Marymount, tough team. Marywood, obviously, we had that big comeback a week or so ago. So this bracket could shape up pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting week, to say the least, with baseball. That was a tough result on Friday and over the weekend with the other games up at Centenary. Hopefully, the team can refocus itself and get a good start. Come bounce back and make some noise in this tournament this weekend and starting off down with at Marymount. I mean, we can say one thing, Connor and I that were here a couple years ago, baseball got swept out by Cabrini the last weekend in 2024 and then went on a run to win the conference championship. So it has been done in the past, and hopefully, the team can rally around together and find a way to win a couple ball games and make it interesting this weekend.
We said time and again, you just have to get in and anything can happen. So I think just flush the last series and focus on Wednesday's game because it's a whole new game now. Switching gears to track and field, who finished their season as the hosts of the Atlantic East Conference Championships over at Draper Wall Stadium. Both teams placed third of 6. Well, the men had 6 teams, the women had 7 teams. On the men's side, 6 of 13 track results were PRs. Connor Krakowski in the 1500 meters placed 12th and 11th in the 5K. Alexander Wilson has some PRs in the 1500 and the 800. 13 of 21 field results were also PRs. Colin Corkery dominated in the field events. Shot put and hammer throw were both golden with a PR in the hammer. And in discus, he earned the bronze medal, coming in at 3rd, and javelin 9th. Another personal record in the jab. Thomas Connolly, shot put, discus, hammer throw, javelin. They were all PRs. And Kevin Telford also saw some PRs in shot put, discus, and hammer throw, and came in 2nd in javelin to earn the silver medal. On the women's side, there were 7 event wins, 2 program records, and 9 personal bests. Abby Grillo earned silver medal in the 400 meters at 58.99. She placed first in the 800 meters with a program record of 2:12.97 to earn her the gold medal. Aubrey Donahue had the gold in the 5K and the 10K, and a bronze in the 1500. Jackie Leone, another gold medal in the 1500 meters. Brianna Caldwell placed first in the 100 meter hurdles with a personal record of 16:49 to give her the gold medal and a PR again the 400 meter hurdles. The 4x4 relay team of Jillian Humphreys, Jayla Gross, Jackie Leone, and Abby Grillo won the bronze medal placed in third overall. Jillian Humphreys had a high jump and earned her gold with a personal record. Aubrey Bickford earned gold in the pole vault. Maggie Friend placed second in the hammer throw with a program record of 34.72 meters and also scored in the discus and javelin. So there were a lot of hardware being out to the Money Max this week. It was good to see. We also honored our seniors afterwards with Kim Alvarez, Jillian Humphreys, Jonathan Olale, Samantha Rivera, Dylan Cruz, Kevin Telsford, Christopher Watson, and yours truly. But yeah, it was definitely a good weekend for the Money Max.
Yeah, it was a really great weekend for track and field. You guys had a lot of great results, men's and women's, a lot of PRs, and really great to see. At least writing the men's recap, Colin Corkery really had himself a weekend, couple gold medals, and I believe there were a couple of them, two conference records and then like a championship record. I think shot put was one of them. My apologies that I don't remember which one. I know I wrote it down somewhere and I don't know where it went. So he was breaking records. He's been breaking records all year. I mean, it's like every week. It's ridiculous. And Kevin Tellisford, he's new to track and he's been doing really well on the men's side. Now on the women's side, Brianna Caldwell, gold in hurdles was great to see. Abby Grillo dominated this weekend, and Maggie Friend's been doing great all year. It was good to see you guys go out on a home meet. Obviously, Immaculata does not host too many track championships or cross country meets throughout the year, but to get a home meet was probably very great for you guys, sentimental in a way. And I think we all had fun. I know the staff. It was a lot of hard work, and at times we were like, I think everybody's under stress at some point, but we were doing it all for you guys, and I think we all had fun doing it. Got it done. Saturday and Sunday were definitely long days, but we got it done, and that concluded our home events for the year. So it's great to see overall.
Yeah, that was my second time running the Atlantic East Conference Championships here. My very first year we did that. And a lot of work, a lot of undertaking goes into it. A lot of good planning was done, and it was great seeing our athletes have a chance to perform with us here. I mean, we always write recaps based off the results that we receive later on a Saturday, and it's nice when we get the opportunity to actually see our athletes perform here on campus, in front of their friends and family. Other students were able to be there to cheer you guys on, your friends, some other likes of life we had. First time we had the national anthem singer for both days, Jackie Leone and CC Montalbano, classmate from the music major. They did a good job of singing the national anthem for us on both days. So that was a nice little added touch to everything, seeing them to do that. Then to have Jackie go right down there yesterday and within an hour running a race and winning a gold medal. That was pretty special moments. Her and Aubrey to go first and third in that event. It was a lot of fun to see that and see our athletes perform. And also just to see, why we love our athletes so much here. We're good people. We work hard. We compete. We may not win the most championships, but our athletes are good people. They're great students, and and they do a great job, and they compete hard. And it was a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed having a home event. And it was nice to have our seniors honored, and special announcement from someone in our group here, that he's not going to be going away from us anytime soon. So it's be good to have you back with us, Connor.
Yes, on top of that. So I've been keeping this a little bit, well, you guys knew and some other people knew, but I kept it a secret for a long time. But I am going to be returning to the team next season as a cross-country assistant coach and also still working in the sports information department. So you all are still stuck with me for a little bit here. And hopefully all the athletes are excited too, because I know everyone kept asking me, he's like, you're never leaving. You're always going to be here, blah, blah, blah. You're like the mayor here, blah, blah. The news is out, y'all. I'll be back for next year, definitely. And looking forward to it.
I think now would be a good time to bring in our guest. We'll be back with Colin Corkery from the men's track and field team after this break on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. And welcome back to the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. We are joined by our guest, Colin Corkery of the men's track and field team. Welcome to the show, Colin.
Thank you for having me.
How did you get involved with track and field, and was this your first choice in sports?
Originally, I started in middle school. I had a basketball coach that also was the track and field coach, and he started having me throwing, and it just took on from there, and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my original main sport. It used to be like football and basketball I cared more about, but then as I got older, my love for track and field grew, and then it kind of took over.
How do you adjust from going to high school competition to college, and were you surprised at the difference at both levels?
It took some time, definitely. The weight increases for all the events besides javelin, so it took a lot of reps to get used to the new timing and the new weight. But it was a quick transition for me. I still love the atmosphere. It was definitely more of like a serious tone compared to a lot of the high school meets where people took it less seriously. And I just love competing against better competition.
Take us through a typical training session or a training week for you. Like, do you focus more on different muscles every day? Do you kind of have buffer days where, like, all right, I'm going to do maybe 2 days and I take a rest day? What's kind of like your workout routine?
Typically, I have 3 days of lifting. So usually my first lift of the week is supposed to be like an explosive upper body day. So it's just trying to move as much weight as possible quickly, which is vital for like the throwing events. And then, like I said, that takes place like Monday to Tuesday. Then I usually have a day off, and then I have the second day where it's the same principle with my lower body, trying to just move the weight quick. And I've been tapering as the season goes on. And then the last days is basically this full body, just explosive work. It's very low volume, just 6 sets in total, just to get my body ready for the meet.
What would you say is your warm up routine before a meet? Do we have like certain exercises that you do? Or are you like pumping certain music in your headphones? Like, what are we talking about?
Usually, yeah, definitely listen to some music. I try and just like have more of like a relaxed feel to just like clear my mind. I typically just do a couple stretches and just try and just like generally warm up and talk with my teammates to like get out of my head and calm the nerves.
So your major is exercise science. What led you to take up that field of study, and what do you hope to be in life after Immaculata?
I fell in love with lifting after my freshman year of high school, and it's been one of my passions. And I decided that I was really interested in it and wanted to learn more about it. And I'm planning on going into athletic training. And I've had a history of like a lot of injuries, so like I want to be able to support people the way I was supported when I was younger and going through injuries.
How do throwers support each other, given it can feel like an individual event? Like you guys were obviously all very close. We see on that Instagram that you guys have, and you guys were all supporting each other this past weekend over at Draper Wall. So how do you support one another?
We just all try and be there for each other. We try and hype each other up in between throws and right before. And if someone gets in their head, we try and like talk them through it and like give them different advice or cues that can help with their throws.
How does it feel to be breaking conference records in your freshman year? And, what goals do you have for like next season and beyond?
It's really an honor to be in this spot, especially as a freshman. And I just want to thank everyone on the team and the coaches and my teammates that have helped me to get to this position. And some of my future goals will be to try and start continuing to further my distance and try and make nationals for D3.
It's kind of been a different year with the weather challenges early in the year. We used to see you outside our window here in our office throwing out into the snow, going get the implement and going and throwing it again and everything like that. So it's been a kind of a crazy year, but you've had a great year.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate you joining us, and we wish you good luck going forward. And we look forward to watching you over the next few years. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be back after this quick break on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. And welcome back to the Tuesday Talk IU Athletics podcast. Well, that will about wrap us up for this week. We should have at least one more show coming up next week before we will take our break for the summer. Maybe if something big happens over the summer, a big announcement or anything like that, we would hop on and do a show. But we'll be back for our final show next week. And we hope you'll join us on the Tuesday Talk IU Athletic podcast. Roll Max.